I hope you all had a fantastic trading week this past week. Now let's get right into this Forex forecast. All right, starting this forecast off with the US dollar index with the weekly chart. We're going to do a top-down approach here. Just want to remind you guys about this weekly supply area here that we clearly had reacted off of. So weekly supply is in control, I would say, on the DXY. But obviously this past week we have seen some bullish pressure with a pretty nice green candle this past week on this weekly chart. So we're going to go down to the lower time frames and really see what is going on. And if you look on the 4-hour chart first, clearly, we have trends to the downside. We did end up breaking this supply on the 4-hour chart, which has left us with demand. So this is a demand zone. We definitely could see a move off the zone at 102.93. But what I wanted to show you guys here first is the daily chart. Yes, the last 2 days we've seen, very, very large green candle, very, very bullish price action. And on Friday here, kind of an indecision candle, I would say. But I just wanted to point out this supply at 103.60 on the daily chart. That is where I think we are headed. Now, obviously, anything can happen. I'm not right all the time, but I do think we will probably see at least at minimum a reaction off the supply. I would be shocked if we just blasted through the supply zone. We definitely could with a news event or something, but I do think this is a significant supply zone because it removed a proven demand zone from back here. If you guys have been following my forecast for a while now, you guys have been knowing I've been talking about these zones. So I do think we will at minimum hesitate at the zone, and I personally think we will see a nice reaction off of this zone and start to break these lows based off the fact that up here the weekly supply came in control, and now we have kind of that daily confirmation. So I do think we will be seeing some more downward pressure in the dollar, but it doesn't mean we can't still be day trading long the dollar until we hit 103.60. So there are some trading options. That's why we do this weekly Forex forecast. But at the end of the day, I do think we will react to the downside off of that daily supply on the dollar. So expect another kind of bullish day, maybe on Monday, Tuesday of the dollar. But remember, we're going to be pulling right back into that daily supply where we have definitely seen a lot of selling take place. So definitely be careful with US dollar longs as we contact that daily supply. On to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. The COT report shows that the banks got rid of 6,027 longs, and they also got rid of 14,123 shorts. If you are liking this video so far, I would appreciate a subscribe and a like. Every like helps because all of the money generated from the ad revenue from all of the weekly Forex forecast videos is donated to my local hospice. So every like helps, would appreciate it. So looking at the euro now, a little tricky because we do have a supply zone on the daily chart at 1.09 that is currently in control. And we've just seen clearly some bearish pressure off the supply. I expected this, but ultimately I am expecting more strength because I am bearish the US dollar, as you guys just watched on my DXY analysis. But why it's tricky is if you look at the 4-hour chart, you guys know from last week I called out this 4-hour demand zone trade to the upside. So a little trend line in contact right now as we are coming in for that second test from this demand zone. So I'm really not loving what I'm seeing here. I actually think we could continue to spike a little bit lower. The problem is that I don't really know where we're spiking into. I'm not really seeing any demand zones here. The fresh demand zone that I see on the 4-hour chart is all the way down at 1.07, all the way down here. So we definitely could see a move off of that zone at 1.07. Are we going to push down to there? I don't know. It's a little bit tricky. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. But so far, this trend line is holding pretty well. But if you've been watching my videos, if you've ever watched any of my tips videos, I talk about how I don't really like to trade around trend lines like this. And I think we definitely could see a spike down. But when we contact that daily supply in the dollar, obviously we should see some strength in the euro. So as long as this trend line is holding, like let's say we really start to push up, I think looking for day trading longs is going to be fine here on the euro. In the meantime, I'm really not seeing any fresh zones. Even if we go to the 1-hour chart, I don't have anything. Based off my chain analysis that I do, I don't really see anything. Yes, we have a 1-hour downtrend. In theory, we could be day trading short this pair right now, but honestly, I would rather be waiting for longs based on the DXY chart, because we're about to contact that daily supply, and that is what I'm expecting to hold on the DXY. So just to kind of summarize here, going back to the 4-hour chart, we could definitely see a spike down, breaking through this demand, especially since it's pretty tested. So that's what I'd be expecting to see. It could just kind of be a fake out and then a rally. So we're going to have to be very, very cautious trading the euro, and mostly kind of focus on the DXY and wait till we hit that daily supply. On to the forecast for gold. The past week, the banks added 18,914 longs, and they also added 8,605 shorts. Overall, still about 78% long on gold. I think that's why we've clearly seen a move up. And on the weekly chart, I mean, what a beautiful weekly uptrend. This is what I love to see. Everyone who loves Bitcoin, I get it. It goes up so fast, but I mean, this is what a healthy trend looks like. I love trading with a trend like this. And I pointed this out last week, I believe, as well, but I think it's very possible that we do pull all the way back to 2041. It might seem like a massive pullback and oh, no way we're ever going to pull back, but I mean, look at this beautiful trend. Wouldn't this not be a great move down, a great buying opportunity at weekly demand at 2041? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think it's a great dip buying opportunity if we can. It does not mean that we have to wait until then to push down, because the next stop, if we really start to see some more downward pressure on gold, the next stop is at 2131. I think this is a pretty clear area of daily demand. It's not amazing, but it is a nice rally demand zone that we could definitely see a move off of. So if we continue to see downward pressure, maybe another red candle, I think it's pretty clear where we are pulling back into, about 2131 at that daily area of demand on gold. Now, with that being said, I'm not seeing a ton of evidence for that to take place. If you look at a 4-hour chart, you know, we did have a pretty nice push up, followed by some hesitation here. It's pretty clear in my opinion, but we don't really have a 1-hour downtrend. So if you go to the 1-hour chart, like we had the low here, and I was kind of waiting for that low to be formed, so then we could have, you know, lower lows being formed, but we are kind of just hesitating here, almost kind of creating some sort of support area that I think we could kind of break. So I'm personally not trading gold right now. I'm a swing trader. You guys know I'm not a day trader. So I'm personally not trading gold right now until we can hit that daily zone. And if we start to break these lows, then I think, you know, we'll have a 1-hour downtrend. I think it's clear that we'll be pulling back to like 2131 at that daily area of demand. And if we break that daily demand zone, then going back to the weekly chart, I think it would be safe to say we're pulling back down to this weekly demand at 2041. So it's really all going to revolve around the 1-hour chart first to see if we can create that 1-hour downtrend, and then that would give us enough evidence to suggest that, hey, I think we're pulling back down to this daily demand, and we could definitely look for longs in this area. And look, we could be completely wrong, and that's fine, because we have that beautiful weekly demand that's much lower, that is an even better price to get in long at on gold. So a lot of options here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think gold definitely a buy. It's just, you know, we kind of got to wait for these zones to be hit, since we're kind of starting to base out here after this very, very large move. On to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks got rid of 16,269 longs, and they also added 252 shorts. So looking at a daily chart here, we clearly pushed down to this little drop base rally buying area here. I still think the real demand on the daily chart is at 145.77. That's just my opinion, but clearly, you know, I won't deny we've clearly seen a reaction off the zone. I'm a little surprised. I thought we could push down to this demand, but that's fine. So now, you know, we've seen 1, 2, 3. I mean, at least 2 very, very bullish days for the USD yen, and I think we're clearly headed up to daily supply at 149.95. So with that being said, we could, in theory, be day trading long. Like I said in my DXY analysis, I am bearish the dollar. I actually think we probably react off of the supply zone to the downside, depending what happens at that DXY daily supply. So what I was saying earlier is we could be day trading long these US dollar pairs until we start to contact supply. So there is a little bit of profit margin left on the daily chart. So what I noticed on the 1-hour chart is we have a pretty nice 1-hour uptrend. This is pretty much picture perfect. We had supply here. I actually thought we would get a reaction off of it, and we kind of did. I'm a little surprised we kind of blew through it, but that's okay. I'm I'm wrong sometimes. I'm not going to be like these other trading gurus who claim to have a 95% win rate. I definitely don't. So definitely blasted through this supply zone, and that's fine. But if you notice, we have a beautiful uptrend on the 1 hour chart with clear profit margin to that daily supply. So if we do pull back to 148.33, this is a decent area to get a long trade in my opinion. But remember, we want to make sure we do not contact that daily supply first. So hopefully we can get a pullback first, then react, and then take profits at that daily supply on the USD yen. So you could also wait for confirmation in this area, which means you could go in a lower time frame, wait for trend lines to be removed or zones to be removed. Check out my confirmation trading video for tips on that. But day trading long on a 1 minute, 5 minute chart with this 1 hour trend is going to be fine as well, as long as this trend line is holding. Once we, if let's say we push down, we break this demand in the trend line, then at that point we do not want to be day trading long. We want to make sure that this trend line is holding. So to kind of summarize again, we have a nice 1 hour uptrend. We could be day trading that and looking for longs in this 1 hour demand zone until we contact this daily supply. So I personally love these setups where there's clear profit margin, a clear area where we could be pulling back into, where we could react to the downside. So it kind of gives us that risk to reward we're probably looking for here. So as long as there's profit margin, we could be day trading that 1 hour uptrend for sure. And once we contact the supply, hopefully we'll be contacting the DXY daily supply as well, and then we could hop on short the US dollar. So a lot of profit margin left here for day trading longs the US dollar, but I think it's going to be short-lived as we contact that DXY daily supply. All right, on to the forecast for the GBPUSD. The past week, the banks added 21,000 longs, and they also added 8,940 shorts, but they are overall 70% long. So that is very, very telling. If you look here, you guys know the last, I don't know, almost more than a month, we've just been kind of sideways here on the GBPUSD. So it hasn't been great, but we did break above this high, broke above the supply, created demand at 1.27, and we are currently sitting in it with a beautiful daily uptrend. It's pretty much picture perfect. The best uptrend I've seen, but definitely, it is up there. And price was up here. We started to see some downward pressure. I'll show you guys on the lower time frame in a sec. And I was telling the members in the Diamond Group that we had tons of profit margin down to 1.27, just like I was kind of talking about on the USD yen. And we actually caught a beautiful 1 hour supply zone trade right here. So you can see we had supply, it removed proven demand from back here, and we got a beautiful pullback trade. 5-to-1 was hit pretty much within 3 hours. So it was absolutely, a little bit longer than that actually, but it was a beautiful picture perfect 5-to-1 trade that we called out in the daily market breakdown videos, which I release on a daily basis. So if you guys want access to my forecast like this on a daily basis, check out the Diamond membership. We also have lifetime access to video lessons, Sunday Zoom sessions, Sunday live stream forecasts, and much, much more. So check it out. Links to the description down below. We'll be happy to see all serious traders catch trades like this as well. So at this point, we do have a 1 hour downtrend, but I am personally going to be looking for longs. And what I'm going to be looking for pretty much is the removal of this downward trend line. I was really hoping we could get some sort of supply here as well that we could get removed, so I can kind of jump the gun on longs. But why am I looking for longs now? Well, like I said, going back to this daily chart, we have a beautiful daily uptrend pulling back into a daily demand zone. Now, let's say I'm wrong here and price breaks lower. That's fine. There's no way I'm shorting this right now. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to be shorting this daily uptrend in a daily demand zone. That's for sure. So that being said, we could be looking for confirmation on lower time frames. I don't get into too much detail in these forecast videos, on what confirmation is, but to keep it simple, once you remove the trend line, that would be confirmation to the upside. Let's say you miss your entry, price pushes up. Let's say we break this proven supply. When proven supply or proven demand is broken, that's always more significant. And what does that mean? What do I mean by proven? Well, we prove that supply was there by pushing off of it and clearly respecting that area. So that would be confirmation by removing the trend line. I'll be looking for longs there. If we push up, break the supply zone, I'll also be looking for longs there. And that's why I do the daily market breakdown videos throughout the week, because right now there's no confirmation, but maybe on Wednesday there will be. So I'll be personally looking for longs in this daily demand zone on the pound. It is looking good. Let me know your thoughts on the pound in the comments down below. All right, on to the forecast for the USDCAD, which is where I am from. The banks added 4,411 longs and they got rid of 6,626 shorts. Now, top-down approach here, we are in a supply zone, but it's been tested almost once, twice, 3 times, over 50% of the way in. So yes, we are coming back in, but it's not worth a lot in my opinion. I still think based off the US dollar weakness, I think we're going to see that we could react off of it, but I'm not ignoring this supply, but it's really not a huge deal for me. So we have some options here. On the 1 hour chart, we have a 1 hour uptrend, so we could be day trading long this one to maybe at least to 1.35. The 4 hour chart is actually a little bit more clear. So since I'm bearish the US dollar, I think this is a decent supply zone to look for shorts at 1.358. It's not the best supply I've ever seen. There's a lot of trading in this area, but I mean, look at the move away. That's what we love to see for supply. And last week I called out this supply zone as well. We did see some moves off of it. I'm sure there were some day trades winners in here, but ultimately we ended up breaking it, which left us with demand at 1.348. So if you think we're going to react off of this supply zone positively, which means negatively because we'll push off of it, what you could do, since we're kind of sitting in the middle, you could be day trading long until we hit that supply at 1.358. I think that's fine on a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart. Let's say from here we push down to this demand zone. If you think that we're not going to break this first and we will see more dollar strength, you could look for longs in this area to trade back up to supply and then take profit and then look for shorts. Me personally, I would rather just be favoring one side. I'm not the kind of trader that has to catch every move where it's like, oh, we got to get in long down here and then short. I'm only simply pointing these areas out because I know some traders like to get in short. You know, some traders are looking for long. So I'm just saying, if you want to get in long on the USDCAD, this would pretty much be your area, the highest odds, or day trading longs. But me personally, I think this supply is pretty good up here. We have tons of profit margin to at least 1.348. Again, it's all going to revolve around the DXY as well. So hopefully maybe we push up to this 4 hour supply while the DXY pushes into that daily supply as well, and then we could see definitely that reaction off of that supply zone. So a few options here on the USDCAD. Again, the day trading longs could work, but I think once we hit this supply 1.358, I think we're definitely at minimum going to struggle to get through and start to push lower. So profits definitely should be taken around that little 4 hour supply zone here on the USDCAD. All right, on to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 12,375 longs, and they also got rid of 6,278 shorts. Looking at a daily chart here, clearly that reaction off that daily supply, a lot of bearish pressure here on the Aussie US dollar. So we do have a supply zone that is in control. Not surprised to see such downward pressure here. So on the 4 hour chart, we did end up breaking through this demand. It was a decent demand zone if you wanted to get in long. That was really your area, but clearly we broke through that area of demand. So that left us with supply at 0.66. I think if we do pull back up to there, I think it's a decent area to look for shorts. Maybe on a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart, you could look for confirmation on day trading timeframes. It's even just a good zone on itself. We had a nice rally base drop. Very, very aggressive move down. Broke demand. It is a decent zone, that is for sure. So that would be my area, that I would look for shorts here on the Aussie. And that's pretty much it. I don't really need to complicate any things anymore. If you look at a 1 hour chart, pretty clear that we have a 1 hour downtrend here, in my opinion. That's why I have the arrow. We are about to contact demand, but I wouldn't really call it the best demand zone ever. So, as long as we have this trend, this downward trend, we could be day trading short on like a 1 minute, 5-minute chart. But if we do start to break to the upside, I think it's clear we're pulling back up to that 4 hour area of supply. So yes, we could be day trading short now, but supply and demand kind of acts as a magnet in my opinion. So we definitely could retrace back up to this supply, and this supply and demand, we are right in the middle. So we kind of want to be trading with that trend. And the trend is down for now, so I'm saying if that trend changes and we start to see some bullish price action, I think it's safe to just wait for that 4 hour supply at 0.66, where we can then look for shorts. So that is my analysis on the Aussie. Remember guys, any questions at all, do not hesitate to ask. I respond to every question. On to the forecast for the USD Swiss. The past week, the banks got rid of 5,380 longs, and they also got rid of 5,699 shorts. So we're going to start with the 4 hour chart here. I usually don't do that, but we're going to do it. So we have a 4-hour supply that's in control. In theory, we could be day trading short this supply zone right now. I actually wouldn't really disagree with that at all. I think it's a decent idea. This supply zone was responsible for breaking demand, an upward trend line. It is clearly supply. We're clearly seeing a reaction off of it right now. However, I do think we could spike above, and here is why. If you go to a weekly chart now, you can see we are reacting off this trend line. And, pretty bullish pressure here if you just look at this weekly chart with a beautiful weekly supply above. So I think we could spike above just to push up to 0.898 to the weekly supply and then react to the downside, only because, I don't like trading at trend lines. I think a lot of times we see spikes above and below trend lines. That's why I think we could spike above to supply at 0.898 and then react to the downside. So even if we do break through to the upside, we have a nice weekly supply that we can look to short as well. On the daily chart, not a lot going on. We are clearly we have supply and demand, and we are basically 50% of the way in. Not much to go off of here, on the daily chart. So we pretty much have to go with this 4-hour supply for now. We could be looking for day trading shorts. Like I said, as we come off of this supply, it's all going to depend on the DXY as well. We definitely could see that bullish pressure, like I said, depending on the DXY, if we react off of that daily supply or not. So really would just be focusing on that 4-hour supply. And like I said, if we spike up to the upside, let's say we break this 4-hour supply zone, that's fine. Then we have a 1-hour uptrend. We could be day trading long to about 0.90, and then we could look for shorts as we contact that weekly area of supply. All right, last but certainly not least, we have crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 12,843 longs, and they also got rid of 8,119 shorts. So a lot of bullish pressure here on the daily chart. You could call it an uptrend, I guess, but a little tricky. Clearly the last 2 days here, if I kind of zoom in, 2 very, very bullish days on oil. Now, I was kind of expecting a pullback to this daily demand zone at 74.04, where I think we definitely could see a reaction off of it. So, I still think this is a good area to look for longs on the daily chart. But, based off of this, I'm really not seeing any evidence of oil slowing down. So you can clearly see on the 4-hour chart, we had a supply zone here. We had the high, and we broke that with this demand at 79.94. So this would be our nearest area to look for longs on the 4-hour chart. Might want to have a wider stop here due to this basing candle. If I kind of zoom in, you can clearly see it is a rally, base, rally, but this is kind of a basing candle as well. So yeah, we could look for longs here, but stop here might be a little aggressive, might be time to have a wider stop. I just did a video on entries, stops, and take profits. Check that out for more details on this type of stuff. So might want a wider stop there, but at the end of the day, this zone removed a high, removed supply. Beautiful 4-hour uptrend. It's a decent area to look for a pullback long entry here on crude oil. And at any time, we could be looking for longs as well. Since we have a 4-hour uptrend, it means we could be day trading long a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart. So yes, we could be at any point looking for day trading longs there as long as this trend line is holding. But if we start to pull back, I think it's clear we're pulling back to 79.94 at that 4-hour area of demand, like I said, where we can definitely look for longs. And if we start to break the demand zones and start to push down, well, going back to the daily chart, then I think it's safe to say we could be pulling back to this daily demand at 74.04. So it's definitely longs all the way here on crude oil. We just need to kind of wait for the 4-hour chart for the highest odds longs. Like I said, with the trends to the upside, day trading longs is going to be fine as well. If you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.